Whether you're looking for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, go see my friends at Apple Chevy in Tinley Park. With over 500 new and used vehicles in stock, they have what you're looking for, and at the lowest price possible. Go to applechevy.com. Well, on the super celebrity satellite, I think there's no other way to put this, Anna. We've got
awesome.
One of the great American heroes, Commander Scott Kelly, on board the International Space Station. And, Commander, first of all, congratulations. You just made the halfway point of your year in space. And physically, do you feel better than you did 190 days ago, or worse?
That's a tough question. I feel better in some ways in that, gravity, and the effects on your joints and things on Earth as you get older, and I'm, in my early 50s now, is something that I don't experience up here. So, in that regard, it's better. I think I wouldn't say I feel bad because I've been up here for, over 6 months.
So when you return to Earth, they've talked to you now, obviously a year in space. It's gonna take a toll in terms of all that. What will you experience when you come back to Earth in terms of how your joints are going to feel, or vertigo or anything like that? What have they told you to expect?
Well, I flew a flight about 4 or 5 years ago now to the space station that was 159 days long. When I got back from that flight, vertigo was something you experience initially. For me, that kind of cleared up pretty quickly. Within several hours, I was feeling much better. What took a much longer time was the soreness of muscles and joints that for me lasted about a month. Also, you're pretty fatigued when you get home, and for a number of reasons, and I expect that'll be the same or maybe even worse this time.
Commander, I want to ask about the twin experiments, and your brother Mark here on Earth is mirroring a lot of the activities you're doing there. And I guess, so how do you know he's doing a good job at it? Are you in constant contact with him? And we also wanted to ask, what if he slips in a Corona or cheats a little bit? Are you able to do that in space? And how does this work?
Well, part of the research is not him being on a similar diet. That was, really not deemed practical. He wouldn't want to eat this food although it's not bad if you had to eat this stuff by choice for a whole year when your friends and family are, diving into a steak. That would be, I think, considered cruel and unusual punishment. But, so most of what he does is, the same type of blood and other bodily samples that are getting from me, and MRIs and other type of, imaging technology that's used on him. So do I know if he's cheating? I don't think there's a whole lot he can be cheating on, and I know he is keeping up with getting the samples. He was in Houston just the other day doing some of that.
So now, let's talk a little bit about this incredible year for NASA and for the space program, I think, in a lot of ways, and just for a human's understanding of what's going on. You had Pluto, you had the intercept of a comet, and now the water on Mars. And I think that certainly some of the experiments that you guys are doing here, that you and your brother are doing, and that you're doing up on the International Space Station, is duration. That's intended to be a part of that research will go into whatever the manned Mars mission is. How important do you think, in terms of funding, these discoveries have been, and specifically the water on Mars?
Hopefully it's it's a positive thing. Like any government agency, NASA needs funding at an appropriate level, and demonstrating success in anything, whether it's NASA or other government agencies, I think is important to get the political support that you need to get funded at the appropriate level. So I think it's a great thing, and each of those different missions you mentioned have captured people's imaginations in their own way, and like you said with the last one with the water on Mars, really hopefully someday it'll help when we get there, and we don't have to bring all this water with us. And water is important for life, and maybe means that there is life there somewhere to be found, or ancient life, and provides possibly a way to make fuel to get home. So it's a great thing.
Commander, also, I wanted to ask you, anybody who's seen The Martian with Matt Damon has seen how he was growing his own food up on Mars, as it were. Are you guys growing food there on the space station? If so, how's that going?
Yeah, so we grew some lettuce a few months ago, and it went great. And hopefully from that experiment and experiments to come, we'll learn to grow more food on orbit and potentially use that technology to go to Mars someday or elsewhere, or just to be able to sustain ourselves here in low Earth orbit.
A couple of days ago, you tweeted a picture of Chicago with the Aurora Borealis over. It was a great shot from your vantage point of the southern part of Lake Michigan at night, with the all the urban light of Chicago and Milwaukee, and then that great green over that. I know that you've talked about how incredible it is to see Earth from that vantage point, but what do you miss most about being on Earth?
You miss the people, your friends, your family, people you love at home, certainly. Not that you don't like the people up here, but, variety is kind of important in that regard. But the other thing is just being outside. I mean, we don't go outside at all. Occasionally you get to do a spacewalk. We got one coming up here. Actually, two coming up here in the next several weeks, but it's not the same thing. And just the freedom to kind of do what you want, walk outside your house is something we definitely miss.
What's the most spectacular thing that you think you've seen? What are some of the images that you're going to take away from this?
I think what I will learn from this, let's talk about that first, is just, I think the potential for us to do things that are really, really hard. Building this space station was hard. This is an amazing facility. We do amazing research up here. It takes an army of people on the ground, not only in the United States but all around the world, to make this program happen. That's just the limit of human potential, I think, is incredible, and the space program is a great place for our nation and other nations to do that. As far as visually seeing, the Earth never disappoints. When I think I've seen it all, I see something new and spectacular, and hopefully I'll be able to keep those images with me for a while.
Yeah. Commander, thank you so much. Appreciate everything you're doing, not only for the United States, but for the world at the International Space Station. And I hope that all the, whatever it is that comes out of this, whether it's a mission to Mars or whatever it happens to be, that you take a very, very important place in the history of the American space program. So we thank you for that.
Thanks, Commander.
Thank you.
All right, that is Scott Kelly, the commander of the International Space Station. And I know, that sounded like he was in the studio with us.
Didn't it?
Which is really weird.
I kept, wow, I kept thinking the whole time, we're talking with someone in space right now. And just fascinating to talk to him about all the experiments they're doing and everything that's happening on the International Space Station.
Yeah. It's pretty, I expected it to, as Bill Les said, you hear a little beep sound and it, boop, in the back of nothing. Yeah,
don't they have equipment back there that needs to make beeps?
Exactly. We needed that to sound like it was from outer space, but it didn't. But he was 250 miles above us.
Traveling at 77,000 miles per hour.
Right. Something. Yeah. So
it's crazy.
But I guess we, if we call it 250 miles, we call St. Louis sound exactly the same. Mm-hmm. All right. Sarah Ginbra standing by with the WGN Traffic Trouble Spots, being brought to you by the Market Financial Group. Sarah.
How cool was that? Oh, my gosh.
I know.
The pictures that guy takes from the sky and posts on Twitter are breathtaking.
Oh, yeah. Totally. We think it's cool to talk to you in the helicopter, Sarah.
Yeah.
I've just become a lot more lame to you guys, and I don't like it.
Unfortunately. Mm-hmm.